do it. Mike Allen's the chief White House correspondent, but you know that by now. He's got a look at the playbook. Mike, good to see you.
Good morning, Willie.
So RNC Chairman Reince Priebus telling the Washington Post he expects CNN and NBC will be cut out of the 2016 primary Republican debates, predicting neither network will bow to his demands to stop production of films about Hillary Clinton. Party chairs in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina are supporting Priebus's ultimatum. Meanwhile, the president of Citizens United calling on CNN and NBC also to air the group's critical films of Hillary Clinton to balance out what he calls puff pieces about the former Secretary of State. Now, Media Matters is joining the calls for both networks to end production of the special. So you have kind of strange bedfellows with the RNC and Media Matters making sort of different arguments why these documentaries in one case and NBC Entertainment Film in another case should be put on the air. What's the Media Matters argument?
Well, the difference here, Willie, is they haven't seen these films. They haven't seen the documentary, so they don't know what it's going to say. Willie, the Media Matters argument, David Brock, who's a longtime, at least in recent years, supporter of the Clintons, he's saying that it could hurt her reputation. He's worried that the response by CNN and NBC to all this noise will be to overcompensate, to do something that's critical of Senator Clinton, Secretary Clinton, and give in to what he calls the right-wing noise machine. So he's calling on them to cancel it because he thinks that they aren't going to be able to withstand it and that it will be no puff piece, in the words there that you used, of David Bossie. So they're arguing about something that doesn't exist. They don't know what it says.
So I feel like we've got to get Reince on the show because I understand the argument completely, except that the Republicans have their own network that has a president that goes and asks people to run for the party. And until Reince Priebus is demanding that Fox do some really great pieces on Democrats and documentaries, I'm not sure it's completely a perfect argument.
Well, what about MSNBC?
Well, what about it? Look at our show. I'm only speaking for our show.
No, but I mean, if you look at the prime time for both networks.
But if you're asking CNN to, quote, balance things out, and you have a network that basically feeds your candidates, I mean, it really does, and airs them and puts them on and hires them. I don't know. There's a whole other conversation that nobody's having here. Having said that, I think they've generated a really good conversation about the blurred lines. Yeah, what about the blurred lines?
Well, I mean, you bring up Fox, you've got to bring up MSNBC. I think in this case, though, and we disagree on the CNN front. We disagree on the CNN front as far as for me, and maybe I get in trouble here for speaking my mind, but for me, CNN, I mean, that's what news networks do. They do documentaries on big political figures.
Right.
I don't see the CNN problem.
Right.
If there's a problem, it's actually it's actually more with NBC as far as if they do this splashy biopic.
Right.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful biography of Hillary Clinton. That's a bigger problem. Now, you and I and everybody on set knows NBC Entertainment and NBC News are completely separate. NBC News probably doesn't want NBC Entertainment to do this. But NBC Entertainment, they want viewers. They want ratings. And guess what? A lot of people will sit and watch a biopic on Hillary Clinton. But there's a big difference, though, between hiring actors and actresses to play that role. Then there is CNN doing a documentary on it. I mean, that's at least my opinion. And that's it. I think the RNC has every right to do what the RNC. I think it's a very interesting discussion,
Mike,
discussion.
but I think the elephant in the room is Fox, that Reince is sort of leaving out.
I'm so confused.
Why doesn't he come on? Well,
Reince will come on, but I don't understand.
Let's have him on tomorrow.
Every time you bring up Fox, you got to bring up MSNBC.
Not really.
Why not?
Because I don't see MSNBC going after Democratic presidential candidates and trying to hire them or trying to push them into the forefront. And everything you read is that Roger Ailes gets behind Republican candidates. He hires them. He puts them on the air. It is a mouthpiece for the Republican Party and the conservative. It is.
So here we go. I'm sorry. I can't.
He now wants every other network.
I can't be quiet here. What do you think MSNBC is at night?
It's not the same at all.
It is exactly the same.
I don't think so.
Well, of course you don't think so, because you're a Democrat. Whereas I am fair-minded and down the middle and in so much trouble right now, I really need to be calling my agent. Willie, back to you.
Joe, it was a great run.
Yeah, it was a great run. This has been a great 6.5 years.
It's been fun. I know what you're doing here,
You know,
by the way.
Mika, she did that on purpose.
No, I
Mika
didn't.
set me up like...
Did you read Dan Ball's book?
It's right out of the Grateful Dead. Set me up like a bowling
Roger Ailes
pin.
calling
Knocked
Chris
down
Christie, asking him to
like
run for
a bowl.
president.
Hey,
Does
Q,
Phil
can
Griffin
you
do
get
that?
trucking? What's that?
Nothing.
No, Roger is free to do what Roger wants to do.
Exactly,
I'm
and he
free to
does what he does.
And I do what I do.
Okay.
A lot of people do what they do.
That's fine. I'm just saying, Reince has a good argument, but there's an elephant in the room. Or a fox.
Yeah, well, an elephant. Hey, Willie, I think the elephant is going to be led out of the front door of 30 Rock
What are you calling?
in handcuffs, and they're gonna put one of those bags over my head. And next thing you know, I'm gonna be, hey, good morning, Schenectady. Boy, the crosstown is jammed up. All right, Willie, what's up?
School closings. Hey, Mike Allen, thanks
It's
for what
over.
you started here,
My
Mike.
career's over. You set me up.
I did not. I was just
The co-host set me up.
I did.
Mike, we'll talk to you, man.
You did that on purpose.
Coming up.